Okay, so let us start and to discuss our quarter 1 lesson 2 under caregiving, which is perform calculations. So here we will need to perform different computations involving ratio, proportion, fractions, and conversions. Next, we will proceed and we will identify and how we can calculate oral dosages, how we can calculate pediatric dosages, then how we can demonstrate and administer patient or medicine to the patient. Ayan, so let's start with next, ratios and fractions. Ayan. So, are you familiar in ratios and fractions? Ayan. Ratios and fractions are numerical ways to compare anything. We can simply ignore them. We use them every day whether we realize it or not. Ayan. For you to have an idea on how we can get ratios and fractions, let me show you a video connected here in ratios and fractions.
Good morning class, it's me Sir Nesty at ngayong araw na to ay i-discuss ko ang tungkol sa performing calculation katulad ng ginawa nyo sa pag-perform ng calculation sa agri-crop production kasi syempre may mga bagay talagang kailangang isolve lalo na sa caregiving. Okay? At dahil dyan, isimulan ko ito sa definition of terms. Okay, we have the dosage. It is the measured quantity of a medicine. Equation and equivalent. Pag sinabi natin equation, a statement of equivalence in mathematical expressions. Siyempre, meron diyang equal sign. Equivalent, the same in number, value, or meaning. Intravenous ejection, a means of administering medicine or feeding a patient through injection. Substernal, meaning to say, situated below or behind the sternum or breastbone. Vial, a small closable vessels for fluids. Suppository naman, small piece medicine designed to melt within a body opening other than the mouth. So, ibig sabihin, nilalagay ito sa rectum o kaya sa vagina. Okay? And for trivia, ito po yung mga injection technique. So, we have intramuscular, ibig sabihin, meron siyang 90 degree. O, ibig sabihin yan, intramuscular pala yung pinaperform ng nurse or doctor kapag ka 90 degree. And sa muscle yan. Subcutaneous, around 45 degree, nasa subcutaneous tissue or fat tissue ng skin. Intravenous naman, ibig sabihin sa veins, 25 degree. And intradermal, ibig sabihin nasa skin portion. Kanina nabanggit ang dosage. Ibig sabihin, kailangan nating makompute kung ano ang dosage na ibibigay ng doktor at paano kaya natin ma-administer yun sa ating pasyente. Kaya naman, involved dito ang ratio, fraction, at proportion to describe relationship between numbers. We say ratio as a quick way to compare numbers. So it uses a colon between the numbers in relationship. Examples, 3:5, 8:12, 4:7. Fraction naman, it is a part of a whole or a portion of a certain number. It uses a slash between numbers in a relationship. Magsislash ka dito kung sinulat mo ang yung numbers or fraction ng horizontal. We have here 2/3, 4/5, and 6/8. Kapag naman vertical, yung pagkakasulat mo, syempre, involved dyan yung fraction bar. So, and yung nasa taas, yung numerator, sa baba naman yung denominator. Pero, kung babalikan natin to, itong nasa horizontal form, yung 2/3 natin, yung 2 natin ay numerator, yung slash ay yung fractional bar natin, and 3 yung denominator. Okay? So, ibig sabihin class, ang fraction ay pwede mong ma-convert into ratio. Kasi pareho lang naman yung meaning nun. Kino-compare mo yung dalawang numbers. For proportion, it is an equation stating that two ratios are equivalent. Meron ka na ditong involved na dalawang ratio na equivalent. So, for instance, to show that 3:6 is equal to 9:18, we would write ito. 3:6 is equal to 9:18. Okay? Or 3/6 equals 9/18 or 9/18. Meron ka ditong double colon na. Okay? Kapag proportion. Alright? So, next naman we have 5:8 as 10:16 or 5/8 is equal to 10/16. Alright? So, ganyan po yung pagsulat at pagbasa ng ratio, fraction and proportion. Now, dire-diretso na po tayo for solving the value of x using ratio and proportion. So, how many nurses will take charge of 15 patients? Ito yung problem, no? If 6 nurses handle 30 patients daw. So, una, i-prepare natin yung equation. Okay, we have 6 nurses, kaya niyang i-handle yung 30 patients. Paano kaya, kung meron kang 15 patients, ilang nurses yung kailangan? So, ang step 2 natin dito ay start with the solution by doing a multiplication. So, multiply the means or the middle items using the left side and multiply the extremes or external items using the right side. So, sa part nitong proportion, kung titingnan natin class, sige, palakihin ko pa. Ayan. So, yung nasa gitna, yan yung means, yung B at C, yung A at D naman na nasa external portions, ito naman yung extremes. Alright? And then, put an equal sign between sides. We have 15 patients times 6 nurses equals or is equal to x times 30 patients. And isosolve natin yung value ng x. For step 3, solve for the value of x. In the given problem, the value of x refers to 15 patients times 6 nurses equals x times 30 patients. So, dito sa mathematical equation na to, so makikita mo na si x ay, yun, may katabi pang 30. So, ang gusto natin, matira na lang kasi si x dito sa right side of the equation. So, ang gagawin natin para matira si x ay i-divide by 30. Okay, sa both side of the equation. Para dito sa right, si x na lang matira. Kasi 30 divided by 30 ay 1. E di understood na yun as x na. Okay? Or 1x or x. So, kung nag-divide ka dito ng 30, syempre sa left, mag-divide ka rin ng 30. So, 90 divided by 30 equals x. Or, pag sinolve mo tong 90 divided by 30, x equals 3 nurses. Okay. Therefore, 3 nurses will take charge of 15 patients while 6 nurses handle 30 patients. So, double check natin. Okay. 3 nurses is to 15 patients as 6 nurses is to 30 patients. So, i-multiply natin tong means. 15 times 6, tama, 90. 30 times 3 naman ay 90. So, tama. Tama ang ating sagot na x ay 3 nurses. Ganyan lamang po. For solving the value of x using fraction, pag fraction naman, actually, same method lang. Fraction nga lang in fractional form. So, how many nurses will take charge of 15 patients if 6 nurses handle 30 patients? So, may option kayo kung gagamit kayo ng ratio or fraction. Pero, syempre, using fraction tayo dito sa method 2. So, syempre, una, prepare the equation. So, x dito ay ang numerator natin and 15 yung denominator equals 6 nurses over 30 patients. And start with the solution by doing a cross multiplication. Katulad nito. So, yung means natin ay denominator ng first. Okay? Tapos, numerator ng second. Okay? So, we have x over 15 equals 6 over 30 patients. 15 patients times 6 nurses equals x times 30 patients. So, solve for the value of x. We have 15 patients times 6 nurses equals x times 30 patients. Ganun ulit, divide mo by 30 both side of the equation para matira na lang si x dun sa right side. So, you have 90 over 30. Okay? 90 over 30 equals, dapat may equal dito. Because x or x is equal to 3 nurses. So, therefore, 3 nurses will take charge of 15 patients while 6 nurses handle 30 patients. So, double check mo ulit. Ganon. 15 times 6, kasi cross multiply, we have 90, then 30 times 3, 90 ulit. So, tama. So, either way, kung mag-ratio ka man or mag-fraction, pareho ang makukuha mong value. Alright, so take note that we use a colon, okay, or a double colon in ratio. So, colon kapag ratio, mag-double colon ka kapag meron ka ng dalawang ratio or proportion. So, we use a forward slash or horizontal bar in terms of fraction. So, proportion is an equation showing two sets of equal ratio. Siyempre, yung middle item sa proportion, tinatawag natin yung means. At yung external items dun sa proportion, tinatawag nating extremes. Okay? And x in an equation which stands for the missing or unknown value. X. Diba? Ang galing?
Ang galing! Ang galing!
We have here dosage calculations conversion. Siyempre, may pagkakataon kasi na i-convert natin yung isang bagay. So, we have here 1 liter equivalent niya ay 1,000 milliliters or equal sa 1,000 ml. And so on and so forth. For example, we have 1 pint, ayan, 1 pint, 500 milligrams pala yan. Pag sinabi natin 1 inch, yan ay 2.5 in terms of centimeters. Alright? And many more. Pag 1 cup, yan pala ay 8 ounces. And syempre, if you want to convert yung temperature naman, so we have here, to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, multiply 1.8, then add 32. So yun yung mga common conversions na ginagamit sa caregiving. Okay. Now, drug dose calculations using measurement or conversion. Ayan, for example, given na po pala dito yung formula. Okay, paano gagamitin itong formula? Let's say we have the desired dose times the volume on hand divided by or over concentration. Yun yung amount to be given. Ulit, paano hanapin ang amount to be given? We have desired dose times the volume on hand divided by concentration. Okay, for example, doctor orders 5 mg of morphine. So, ang morphine ay isang klase ng drug to be administered intravenously to a patient with substernal chest pain. So, saan yung substernal? Sa may sternum or breastbone. So, you have 1 ml vial. Ito po yung vial or lalagyan. Kung yung 1 vial contains 10 mg of morphine or 10 mg per ml, how many milliliters are you going to draw up into a syringe and push IV or intravenously into your patient's IV line port? So, ano yung given dito? Okay, desired dose mo ay 5 mg ng morphine, IV. So, yung concentration ng vial or nung drug na nasa vial ay 10 mg and volume on hand, we have 10 mg per 1 milliliter. So, paano kaya i-solve natin to? So, ang gagawin natin, ayan, base dun sa ating equation or formula, we have desired dose, ayan, times the volume on hand over concentration. Yun yung amount to be given. So, ibig sabihin, we have 5 mg na desired dose times 1 ml, yun yung volume on hand dun sa vial natin, over 10 mg. Yun yung concentration ng vial. So, ibig sabihin, makakancel dito yung unit na milligram. Okay, so matatanggal na to. Ang matitira na lang ay 5 ml kasi 5 dito times 1 ml, edi 5 ml, then 10 na lang at wala nang unit. Okay, class, pag sinabing unit tsaka value, for example, we have 5 mg, 5 yun yung value, milligram yun yung unit. Okay, so magiging 5 ml over 10. So ito, pwede mo pang ma-divide para matitira na lang ang ml. So, ibig sabihin, 5 ml over 10, edi 0.5 milliliter. Ito yung amount to be given dun sa pasyente natin. Okay? So, ganyan lamang po. Okay? Desired dose times volume on hand over the concentration, yun yung amount to be given sa pasyente or sa kliyente. Now, for the metric conversions, there are instances when we need to convert a unit of measurement to another when calculating for drug doses. Okay, so ito yung mga alam natin or familiar nating metric conversions. Dito sa caregiving, ayan, so syempre, large and small amounts of these units often have a prefix. Also, common unit of measurements are prefix symbol, multiplication factor. So, madali na natin itong matatandaan kasi meron siyang multiplication factors. Ayan, ba't bigla itong lumaki? Okay. So, paano kaya mag-calculate ng oral drug dosage? Pag sinabi nating oral drugs class, this substance which are administered orally. So, ibig sabihin by mouth, iniinom, ini-intake. Okay, sa ating, nilalagay syempre sa bibig. Pinapasok sa bibig. Pwedeng tablet. Okay, pwedeng capsule. Tablet yung ano to. Syempre, pabilog siya. O yung capsule naman ay parang, syempre parang pa-capsule, rectangular siya na, yun, para siyang cylindrical or liquid. O syempre, liquid or suspension. Oral drugs are mostly available in a limited number of strengths or concentrations. So, may concentration yan, syempre.
Wah!
Paano kaya mag-interpret ng oral drug labels, yung nakalagay sa likod ng ating mga nabibiling gamot.
Wah!
So for you to administer an oral drug safely, okay, you must make sure that it is the correct drug with the right dosage. Therefore, it is very vital that you would be able to read and interpret oral drug labels. Magbabasa po kayo ng likod. Okay? You have to identify the drug name. Ano kaya yung pangalan ng gamot? So, dapat malalaman mo ang pinagkaiba ng brand name at generic name kung babasahin mo. At syempre, alam naman natin kung ano yung gamot. Ang nakakalito lang, ano yung brand name, ano yung generic name. Okay? At bakit wala dito yung picture? At nandito na.
Wah!
Okay, class. So, we have here, for example, Benadryl. Ayan, nagamot sa allergy. Ang brand name niya, yung brand name, ito yung pinapatalastas. Okay? Or pangalan ng produkto mismo na pinabandera, pinopromote. Okay, lahat ng gamot na may diphenhydramine HCl, pare-pareho lang, magkakaiba lang sa brand name. So, Benadryl. Another example dito ay phenylephrine. Ang phenylephrine, yun yung generic name niya. Okay? Pero, yun ay kilala natin sa tawag na, or pag bumibili tayo ng Neozep, Decolgen, so yan ay mga brand name. Pero phenylephrine, at may kasama pa yun, phenylephrine yun yung generic name niya. Okay, dito class, syempre, Alaxan. Ang Alaxan ay, yan ay brand name, Alaxan. Pero ang kanyang generic name ay ibuprofen paracetamol. Sir, ano po bang pinagkaiba ng generic tsaka branded na gamot? So actually class, pareho lang naman yan in terms of safe, pareho syempre, effective, at high quality yung gamot na yon. Syempre class, pag sinabing branded, ibig sabihin lang nun, pinopromote or ina-advertise yung gamot na yon, or maraming doktor ang nagpo-promote nun. So, ibig sabihin, medyo costly yung promotion or pag-advertise. Pangalawa, usually class pag brand name, ibig sabihin doon, or pag branded, from the scratch yung pagkakagawa ng gamot. Ibig sabihin, malaki yung nagastos nung kumpanya or nung laboratory from the scratch, kaya branded siya. Okay, pero class, pareho lang po ang effectiveness. Okay, kaya pag pumunta ka sa butika, tapos pag tinanong ka, ay wala kami nitong brand, generic, ang mayroon dito ay mga generic, ay okay lang yon. Okay, kasi parehong effective, parehong high quality. Again, pangalan lang kasi ang nagpapaiba sa generic versus branded. Okay, pareho lang po in terms of effectiveness, safety, and quality. Okay, class? Okay, if the drug has two names, the generic usually appears in the lowercase print and sometimes in parentheses. So, madalas, kapag generic, maliit yung kanyang, maliit ang pagkakasulat. Okay? So, the generic name is used, so, ibig sabihin nun, very careful dapat sa pagbabasa to avoid errors. Okay? Also, pay attention to the active or generic name since too much of an active ingredient can be harmful if you take more than one product with the same active ingredient. So, ibig sabihin nito, after identifying the drug name, look for the dosage strength. For example, bumili ka ng paracetamol tablet. Ano bang paracetamol? 500 mg ba or 650? So, depende yan sa reseta ng doktor. And also, yan, Solmux. Pwedeng itong mas maliit pa or pinakamaliit. So, depende yan sa dosage strength. Okay po, so dapat malinaw. Kaya bibigay mo dapat yung reseta sa doktor. Also, class, may pagkakataan na bibili ka ng gamot, hindi na kailangan ng reseta. Ibig sabihin nun, walang nakalagay na RX. Pero kapag may nakalagay na RX yung gamot na yun, ibig sabihin, kailangan nun ng reseta. And RX stands for medical prescription. Also, check the expiration date. So, it is vital information which is sometimes overlooked. Okay? So, ang tip dyan, for best shelf life, is store all medications in a cool, dry place. Okay, so medyo nagkakaproblema lang dito sa expiration date kasi nakakalito rin dahil ang pagkakasulat or pagkakaimprinta dun sa gamot ay depende sa arrangement. May arrangement kasi na nauna yung month and then day and then year. May arrangement na nauna yung araw, day, then month, then year. At meron naman na una yung month and then year. So, yun yung problematic. So, pagka ganun class, bibigay mo sa pharmacist and then sila na bahala tumingin nung expiration date. Okay, dyan nagtatapos ang ating performed calculation. So, basahin nyo pong buti. Ulit-ulitin po ang video na to para mas lalong mag-gets.
Ayan, so that will be the end of our lessons in perform calculations. Ayan, hope you learned something from me. Thank you for listening.